And
You got
before
it.
I spill the beans and do too much, you guys, let me jump out of the way and say to you all, we are sitting on one of the greatest platforms that we could sit on and getting information that we need about a product that is absolutely changing the lives of so many. It's absolutely changed my life. And the person who's responsible for this platform today, that is going to bring up this great man, is none other than Minister Jonathan Jones out of that great town down there in sunny Florida. Come on and take it away, Jonathan. Let us rock and roll and get ready for the information today.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much, Dr. PK. Much appreciated. And I'll tell you, folks, you've been invited here because somebody cared a lot about you. And while it is true that some of you have frequented this Sunday platform, um, we know well that there's a good percentage of you that are here for just the first time. So for some portions of what we share may be a little bit repetitive for a few. But we're speaking primarily to the folks that are here for the first time and unraveling this information for the very first time. And we really want to share with you exactly what you need. You'll notice that the headline of our discussion today is the fact that March is Kidney Awareness Month. And we inserted the word health there because that's really what they want to focus on, is kidney health awareness. And over the past couple of weeks, we've been talking about the impact of diabetes when it comes to kidney health. But this week we're focusing on high blood pressure. And we know that Dr. Prasad is going to really just kind of drill down in on exactly the connection, the correlation between the two, and exactly what individuals can do to address this dreaded issue. Before we go on to just really tell you exactly what our recommendations are, please understand something. There's a little something called the 14th Amendment in the United States Constitution that allows us to pass on information for educational and informational purposes only. So that having been said, we can tell you that the FDA has not evaluated these statements, and the testimonies that you may or may not hear are all anecdotal. Results are atypical. What happens to one person may or may not happen to you. So engage in Dr. Prasad, myself, Dr. PK, none of the co-hosts are making any claims that Micro Daily or any of the Engage Global products will treat, cure, or heal disease in any way, shape, or form. Insert, please, the 14th Amendment of the United States Constitution allows us freedom of speech when it comes to education and information. So this is for information and educational purposes only. We strongly recommend that you seek the competent medical advice of professionals that you trust when making decisions about your health and well-being. But there are facts that you need to take into consideration when you're making a decision about what you're going to do. Fact number one, there are a lot of people with chronic kidney disease, quite a few. 1 in 7 adults, that's 37 million people with chronic kidney disease. 1 in 3 associated with diabetes, 1 in 5 associated with high blood pressure. 1 in 5 associated with high blood pressure, and up to 10 adults that have chronic kidney disease that don't even know it. They're not even aware that they have the problem. The stages are very simple. Stage 1, that's where most of us are or want to be. And it progresses all the way to advanced kidney failure, which is stage 5. Stage 4, severe kidney loss of function. So a person can be at stage 4. And who knows? Maybe Dr. Prasad can tell us, is there even a chance that a person can turn around and recover some kidney function if they get the proper nutrients in their body to make a big difference? But once it gets to the advanced stages, then that's really when a person is prone to kidney failure, stroke, or heart attack. And that's when the matter really becomes quite serious. So as you can see from this slide, 2 in 1,000 Americans live with end-stage kidney disease. So that's 1 in 500. Just think about that. That's the number of people who need some sort of treatment with either a kidney transplant or dialysis. That's the number of people that we're talking about that have this level of disease. So 808,000 people in the United States live with end-stage kidney disease. And that's also end-stage renal disease. So, and demographically, Black people are 4 times more likely to develop end-stage kidney disease. Hispanics and Native American people are more than twice as likely to develop end-stage kidney disease. And there are no doubt a plethora of reasons as to why that is the case. And just to grab some updates on this, I decided to do a little bit of searching here just before I introduced Dr. Prasad, and found out, did you know, and you may or may not, be aware of these next facts, that nearly half of the adults in the United States have hypertension? Half. So that's 119.9 million people, approximately. That's US adults. And then what is hypertension? It's defined as a blood pressure greater than 130 over 80. So that's fairly high. 1 in 4 adults. How did the statistic go? It's 27 million individuals that have the condition under control. So 27 million of them. So that's a huge number of people that are really in trouble when it comes to hypertension. The cost of managing this, $131 billion every single year. And hypertension has contributed to, or in some way or another, and it's in some cases the primary cause, to nearly 700,000 deaths. That was the last statistic that was available in 2021. So, and again, men are in that situation, much more prevalent so than compared to women. What is it that makes us so slow, men that is, to go and seek medical attention? I think sometimes we just have it in our mind that, oh, I'll be better. I just need to rest a little bit. I'm a little bit too much stressed, and I ate something bad. I still have a friend of mine that I referenced him, I think, in one of our earlier discussions. He's in his early 70s, and his wife described to me his last moments of life. He just wasn't feeling good. He was not feeling himself. He just felt a little bit tired and just couldn't really describe how he was feeling, she said. He said he just felt bad, so bad that he had a speaking engagement that evening that he never, ever misses. But he told his wife to give the planners, the organizers, a call and just say he wasn't going to be able to make it to that speaking engagement. And she said, she checked his blood pressure and it looked really, really bad. And she said she was going to call 911. No, that's okay. I just need to rest a little bit. I'll be okay. And by the time he became unresponsive, they would work on him for about 20 minutes or so outside in the ambulance, and he just would not revive. But if something had told him that would be his last moment of life, I wonder if he would have made a different decision at that point. I wonder if the decision would have been a little bit different. And I'm saying that again because, being a man, I know how I feel. I know personally that I'm one of the last ones to want to go and run and see a doctor, but just the same, statistically, we happen to be 50% greater risk of having a serious issue when it comes to the kinds of things that we're talking about, hypertension and having a serious and adverse outcome when it comes to heart disease, high blood pressure, and dying from it. So I'm saying that just to say that we need to pay attention, and we're hoping that everyone is paying careful attention. But enough said there. Let's get Dr. Prasad's input on this subject. And here's the reason why you should listen to what Dr. Prasad has to say. Dr. Prasad was professor of University of Colorado School of Medicine for some 30 years. He was also the former president of the International Society of Cancer and Nutrition. He was a member of the Royal Society of Medicine, London, UK. He was the world's first radiation biology PhD, and he was invited to be a member of the Nobel Peace Prize nominating committee for candidates in medicine. And they just don't give that invitation to anyone. For example, I've never been called for that. No one ever asked me to be a part of the Nobel Peace Prize nominating committee. I mean, I got some suggestions I think I could give, on the matter, but they don't care about what my opinion is. Who am I? But Dr. Prasad, he got the phone call. He got the phone. I'm just trying to make a comparison here, just so you know we're dealing with someone very special here. His products, his formulations have been discovered 8. I was supposed to correct that. 9 U.S. patents on micronutrients. Dr. Prasad discovered the anti-cancer potency of vitamin E succinate. He discovered that butyric acid, the small fatty acid formed by the fermentation of fibers in the gut, is an anti-cancer agent. Dr. Prasad is the author or co-author of some 33 books, and ignore that number that says he's been published 250 times. That is a clerical error. It's more than 300 peer-reviewed articles that this man has published. So we are standing on the shoulders of genius and getting a bird's eye view of some truly amazing things by having this gentleman in our presence. So, Dr. Prasad, I'd like to personally just extend a warm welcome to you. And before you say a word, I really do express my appreciation and gratitude for everything that you've done and everything that you shared on Sunday afternoons that we have a record of, that many people to this day are benefiting from over and over again. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, Jonathan. I always enjoy being with you and our engaged family. Dr. Picola, I'm glad she's here. And the topic today you have picked up is very, very important one. And the statistics that you showed is frightening. But I'm sure that most of the people are not aware of the statistics. And they wait for the events to occur, and then they go to the doctor, or sometimes they neglect, and then they leave for another planet. And so it is sad. It is very sad. But here is the reason. First, you have to, for me, when I address any issue, for me, it is important to do some research to find out why it is happening. Until you know why it is happening, you can't devise a protective strategy.
That's right.
And when you found out that, first you have to know the high blood pressure and kidney damage has bidirectional effect. In other words, the high blood pressure alone can cause kidney damage. And if kidney damage has occurred first, it can increase the blood pressure.
Important fact. Thank you for elucidating that. Thank you.
Yeah. And why this happens? For example, just suppose kidney is normal, kidney doesn't have any problem. And you have in your body is high oxidative stress. You are producing a lot of free radical inflammation. Then can damage to microvessel that feeds oxygen to the kidney or nutrient to the kidney. So they damage it, and they become they cannot supply enough blood supply to the kidney. Then what kidney does, as a response of that, in a stress situation, it started producing a hormone which increases blood pressure. You see, this is the one direction. But suppose kidney damage is first by infection, by injury or something, then it cannot secrete the water that you drink efficiently. It is damaged. And then water accumulates in your body, and that increases the blood pressure. Wow. You see what I mean? So yes. There are two totally different ways of having a blood pressure, high blood pressure. And then the question is that for me, and is that how you reduce that? Oxidation, that's the key. Right. Whether you have right now or you don't have, and you will have at some point, you will have it. So the question is how to prevent it. Well, one way of preventing is that reduce oxidative stress and inflammation in the beginning as a preventive strategy. And if you reduce it, that some of these, for example, damage to the blood vessel would not happen, or they happen for a long, long time when you are in 90s. And so it is very important, but not many people do it. It's very simple. If they continue to take poor diet, even diet, they don't do anything. Take the diet which are enriched in fruits and vegetables so that they can get enough micronutrient. They get overweight, all this kind of health issue. But once you know how it happens, so blood pressure can happen first, and then kidney damage second. But kidney damage occurs first, then blood pressure becomes high as a second event. So they are bidirectionally very much linked. And that's why in diabetes, as you know, they have very high level of oxidative stress and inflammation, and they can cause not only damage the kidney damage is one of the major late effect if you don't do anything.
Right.
And the thing is that it is all right to take the medication for any kind of things. I recommend highly, the doctor recommends it, you take it. But at the same time, also take a micronutrient, which is harmless, which does not adversely affect with any medication that you are taking, and it might improve the efficacy of the drug you are taking. Your doctor may reduce the dose of the thing if they think your blood pressure is very good. And so I'm saying that it is a complement rather than alternative to medication that you are already prescribed by the doctor. But for prevention, right now, there is no recommendation except the diet, and which is very good recommendation, but nobody follows it.
Right.
Smoking, nobody follows it. So if you don't follow it, at least you can take a easily taken micronutrient that just take a few pills, and it will have a major effect on your oxidative stress and inflammation. And if you take it, you have to continue taking all your life, like I do. And so I think this is very simple. That's why we divide. And in this scenario, we did not play, I'm not mentioning the role of intestinal dysbiosis. Intestinal dysbiosis is when the number of harmful bacteria is more than beneficial bacteria. We call them intestinal dysbiosis. And I'm sure that anytime you have any kind of disease, young people seldom have a high blood pressure, but older people have it, and older people have some people have more higher level of intestinal dysbiosis, some people have lower, but they have it.
Right.
So until you correct them, it is not possible to do it.
Right.
And so I think, if minimum, those people who doesn't have, say, diabetes, for example, but they just have a high blood pressure, they should consider taking whatever doctor recommends, plus micro daily and probiotics. And of course, also digestive enzyme, because the intestinal, your digestion, what you are taking, including macronutrient, it is very important to have especially older people as you grow older. So at least those three, you must have it.
Right.
And in case you have an early phase or any phase of diabetes, then you have to also include probiotics. Why? Because it is absolutely essential for your health. Omega-3 fatty acid, especially for your brain function and heart function, is extremely important. And secondly, that sometimes when you have diabetic patient and you develop resistance to drug, insulin, then what you do? Then omega-3 fatty acid is there to help you, because they directly, the way insulin works, as you know, that when you are not an early phase diabetes, for example, and you are taking medication, what insulin works, it goes to binds with the insulin receptor. Once it binds, then it activates another molecule called protein kinase B, in short, AKT, capital A, capital AKT. When that molecule get activated, then it sends a message to glucose transporter protein, which is lying idle in the cytoplasm, that you have to go to cell surface membrane. And glucose is already there floating in the blood. And then as soon as it sees that it is a glucose transporter protein is there, glucose can come in. That's the only way it can allow glucose to come in, and then of course use it for energy, and then you have a lower level of glucose in the blood. But if you become resistant, then what you do? There is no mechanism of utilization of glucose, so glucose will accumulate, and your disease will progress faster. And so what we do, the omega-3 directly activates this molecule called AKT. So now AKT activation doesn't have to depend upon insulin receptor. It gets directly activated, and then glucose transporter doesn't care how it gets activated. Once it gets activated, glucose transported protein goes to the cell surface and asks glucose to come inside the cell.
Which is absolutely amazing.
Yeah, so this is very important because this mechanism is nothing else except, so you can see that at every available, not only it is important fatty acid for your health, but at some point who has diabetes and become resistant, then is a double advantage. And then fourth one is a
Well,
collagen peptide.
before you mention the collagen now, Dr. Prasad, because a lot of this is really food and diet related, as you mentioned. And truth be told, if we had high quality food available, you wouldn't need to add omega or probiotics or micro daily to your diet. So
That is if you say ideally,
Mhm.
for example, if 100% of the time absolute, you are following not only the diet recommendation like you mentioned, fruits, vegetables, no smoking, and also environmental things.
Right.
In other words, suppose if you're taking a good diet, okay,
Mhm.
but you are also smoking, that will increase oxidative stress.
Mhm.
And the amount of nutrient you are taking may not be sufficient to completely reduce the oxidative stress.
Right.
Not only that, but suppose if you are in an environment where dirty water is contaminated water with metals or something, or you are breathing air which has a small, tiny particles in the air. Sometimes if you have a polluted atmosphere, you can. That will increase oxidative stress and
Right.
inflammation.
Right.
And that your diet will not be sufficient. It will be important, but not sufficient to reduce oxidative stress. So you try to take as good diet because nobody will follow 100% that we recommend. And nobody will give up. Many people, nobody, I don't mean nobody, but very few will follow
Very,
every.
very few. Yeah.
But even though you take as much as you can, try to avoid the environmental pollution, try to avoid contaminated water, live happy life, exercise, all these good things that you are supposed to do, but nobody does it. But anyway, those who does it also have to take this core four. And I was mentioning the collagen peptide is not only important for the diabetes, but is also important for your brain function. Because first, collagen is why it is important for diabetes, you know that. Because when you have when the disease is progressing of diabetes and you have not taken collagen peptide, that what happens, there is an enzyme called DPP4 enzyme that increases. And when that increases, the flow of insulin from pancreas to the blood inhibited. So what FDA has, and scientists have developed a medication and approved by the FDA is the inhibitor of DPP4 is right now is prescribed to the patient with diabetes. But it has toxicity. But collagen does exactly the same thing. It inhibits DPP4 and allows the flow of insulin from pancreas to the blood nicely. So it helps. And so this is very important with no toxicity, And the second thing is that collagen, as you know, is present 30% of your total body protein is collagen. So it's present in the heart, in brain, in kidney, every place. When it loses, you can see in your skin because face gets wrinkled and everything. So you can observe it, but you don't know what is happening in your brain. You don't know what is happening in your heart because collagen is decreasing there as well.
Right.
It is not just selectively from the skin or from your face. It is decreasing every place. And so what people have shown and so this is very important. And so what you see, when at least in the brain, they have shown it, that when collagen decreases, the brain shrinks in the size. Because one of the major function of collagen is to maintain the structural integrity of all your organ in the body.
Mm.
So if it goes down, then that structure get disturbed. It is, and therefore, if you get a structure get disturbed, the function will get disturbed too. And so in this scenario, they tried 12-week study of collagen peptide in a patient with Alzheimer's disease. And they found that collagen peptides, after 12 weeks, the brain structure improved, and also memory function markedly improved as well. So collagen, so we don't know what is happening in heart. Nobody has done a study on heart, but I
Right.
presume that will be happen too. Heart function will deteriorate if
Wow.
your collagen is going down and heart structurally is becoming, disturbed,
Wow.
altered. And so collagen peptides is extremely important for everybody to
Wow.
maintain the structural integrity of all your organs, including a skin, because you want to look nice and beautiful. So,
Yeah.
but you also at the same time, it improves the structural integrity of your heart, your brain, your
The kidney. Yeah.
all organs in your body.
That's incredible, Dr. Prasad. I have to tell you, I think I know some young people whose collagen levels are definitely low because they don't have a whole lot of brain function. So something's
Yeah.
got to be wrong there, and I'm pretty sure it's got to be a
And
deficit.
so that's why I recommend Core 4, and that's why I have a couple of papers I've written, including on Alzheimer, where I have emphasized that you treat one symptom. Current treatment is very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
The treatment for any disease is just a symptom with one drug.
Mm-hmm.
But what you do if you have also the intestinal dysbiosis that is contributing the progression of the disease? Nothing. That sometimes what happens because of that, the disease becomes resistant to the drug, it's no more responsive. Then doctor will change some other drug, some
Yep.
other medication, or increase the dose.
Yeah.
I'm not blaming doctor, but I'm saying that they are not aware of that how to treat disease when you take care of all the cellular defect exist in various places at the same time. Now, even in a clinical study, they will just use in any disease, whether it's diabetes, cancer, or anything, just, for example, intestinal dysbiosis alone and how to improve it. And when they put a proper probiotics, and sometimes it's funny, sometimes in experiment in clinical study, they will have only one strain of bacteria, for example, lactobacillus bacteria, which is very useful bacteria. They will just have one probiotic with one strain and then try to improve the disease. And they find some effects even with one strain. So, but in our approach, my approach had been that try to address all at the same time. All the defects are there that is contributing to the disease. Not one factor contributes to the disease. There are many factors. And until you take all those factors who are contributing to the disease, you are not going to get the optimal benefit.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's incredible, Dr.
And so this
Prasad.
is very important that you follow doctor advice, take the recommendation, whatever medication, whatever
Yeah.
health condition you are.
Yeah, don't
But
just
suppose
stop your
if you
medication.
don't have any disease right now, for example,
Take it
and
prophylactically.
you are not just not going to a doctor for any reason, still you should take it because then you don't have to go to the doctor, hopefully,
That's it.
or hopefully go when you are 90, 89 like me, then you have to go. So something will happen. I mean, no matter what you do, you are not going to live indefinitely.
No. Well, I plan to, but
But what I want to do, like I have, the improved quality of life, you are going towards your ultimate end.
right down to the end, Dr. Prasad.
We have to leave this planet and reincarnate some other planet at some point.
All I know is I'm 61 right now, and the last time I check my blood pressure periodically, but I went for some lab tests, and the doctor who happened to be there, who was over the lab, looked back and said, "How old are you?" And then he, because they couldn't understand why the blood pressure was, I think it was like 120 over 80 or something. Something like that. He says to the nurse there, one of the lucky ones, and I said, "This luck's got nothing to do with it. I know a guy. His name is Dr. Kedar Prasad. That's why this is what it is." So don't tell me this is all about luck. But I'm doing a little informal survey right now just to see who in our audience. We've got 86 connections right now.
Mhm.
And how many here, if you guys will raise your digital hand, I'm just trying to see how many here right now have high blood pressure that's on this call right now. Just raise your digital hand. And
A lot of people. I would be surprised everybody has something.
so far, Dr. Prasad, we're up to about 15. I'm seeing 13 right now out of the 85. So that's about 1/3.
Mhm.
1/3 of the audience here, which is just about what the CDC's numbers indicated. Now, my next question to those in the audience right now, how many noticed an improvement? I'm talking about those who are using the Core 4 right now. How many had some positive benefit that they observed when they added Dr. Prasad's formulas to their regimen? Because I know in some cases it takes a lot longer,
Yeah,
for it
it does
to
because it is a slow progress, and especially if you are not controlling anything else,
Uh-huh. That's right.
lifestyle and dietary and things like that, exercising
Mhm.
and so
And massive amounts of stress in their life. Yeah. So there's
I
all.
mean, most of the even clinical study, they do at least for 90 days,
That's right. That's right.
3 months.
Okay, so right now it looks like about half still have their hands up, indicating that they are experiencing positive results from being on your formula. No, that's more than half. So about almost the full amount. So about 75% of the 14 still have their hands up. Now, Marie Houston, I've heard your story before, Marie. And I know that you've gone through a great deal of things. Would you mind telling us a little bit about how high blood pressure was impacted for you in your situation? This was not prescripted. Marie didn't know I was going to pick her out of the 9 people on here. So she was not prepared for this at all. But I know Marie can at least share with us her story. So go ahead. The rest of you, please keep your hands up. Go ahead, Marie.
Well, hello everyone. Yeah, I had hypertension. It used to run up in like 150 and 160 over those other numbers too. And I started on Dr. Prasad's products probably about it's almost 2 years now that I've been using the products. And I started off with the capsules, the hydro, and the probiotic. And after about 2 months, my doctor, they was amazed at how well I was doing. They took me off of several medications. Nowadays, my hypertension, high blood pressure, it's like maybe like 120, and sometimes it might get up to 130. But they are just amazed at what these products have done for me. And I have the diabetes and all of that too. And they took me off about 5 medications that I was taking. And this was after about 2 months, even maybe less than that, because I started like in November, December, January, and by January, I mean, my cardiologist, I have rheumatoid arthritis, all of that. I was taking that methotrexate. She took me off of that. And I can't speak enough on how well these products are. And when I first started the capsules, oh my, the energy that I had. I was running up and down my steps. I mean, oh my God, it was just amazing. And I will be on them for the rest of my life because they have made that big of a difference.
Wow.
And I thank you, Dr. Prasad.
Thank
You
you,
are
Marie.
a godsend.
Wow.
Yeah.
I want to
Yeah.
mention one more fact. In the morning, if you measure anybody, normal person or anybody, if you
Thank you,
measure in
Marie.
morning,
Thank you.
the blood
Anytime.
pressure is higher in the morning than in the evening or afternoon. It is just a natural phenomenon. There is nothing wrong. So if you see in the morning blood pressure goes few points up or down, up, you don't worry about it.
Right.
And as long as in the afternoon that or later on, in the morning you are okay. And so they explain it that it is because you have rested and hormone or something. But anyway, generally this is true that morning your blood pressure is little bit higher than normal.
Okay, that
Than the
sounds
evening, for example.
right. Okay, that's good to know. Thank you. And I see in the chat, Andrea Harkless says that I had high blood pressure, and these are Andrea Harkless's words. Micro Daily keeps it in check. My last check last week was 122/77, Dr. Prasad.
Yeah.
So this is someone diagnosed with high blood pressure. And there's a couple more hands here. Let's see if we can't get another comment to Cheryl Johnson. I'm not sure what Cheryl's story is, but Cheryl, would you mind telling us the impact that Dr. Prasad's formulas have had on your high blood pressure issues?
Hi, Jonathan. Hi, Dr. Prasad.
Hi.
I had actually my GFR, I believe. My kidney function my numbers were I was at a 53
EGRF?
EGFR.
EGFR.
Yeah.
EGFR.
Mhm.
My number was, I believe it was at a 53.
Very high.
And now it's the last measurement, I believe it was 60.
So you're going up, you're improving.
Yes, yes. So that's what it's done for me.
Yeah, no, I think that is a symbol. If you EGFR increase, that means your kidney is functioning better than before.
Oh, wow.
Because
How long have
I
you
have
been on the
lupus.
product?
I've been on the product for more than a year now, I believe.
And you said you have lupus as well?
I have lupus as well.
Oh, wow.
And I'm not on any medication with my lupus. I was on Plaquenil for over 20 years, and I had to come off of it. So the microdaily is helping me keep my inflammation levels down. I also have rheumatoid arthritis as well. So, and I started taking the collagen again because I tend to have a lot of issues with most of my lupus problems deal with my connective tissue. Because I had pleurisy. I had really bad. That was the first major issue I had with the lupus when they took me off of the Plaquenil. And the doctor was saying that it was like a rebound reaction because I had been on it for so long. It affected my blood vessels. And typically I usually have my muscle enzymes are very high because of it. And now they're normalized. My muscle enzymes are normalized and my kidney function has improved.
Yeah,
Wow.
good.
My
Wow.
inflammation level is normal.
That's
Wow.
great. Great news.
So Dr. Prasad, what could, thank you very much, Cheryl, for
welcome.
sharing that. What could account for that, Dr. Prasad?
Well, I mean, that these things are just she's taking it, reduces oxidative stress and inflammation. That's simple. And if you don't take it, then it does, plus she's taking other product as well, and so all they are taking care of many factors that is affecting her health at the same time, not one at a time.
So then the person who say takes one thing, a diuretic or a this or a that to have an impact on the symptoms, of the disease may not necessarily get the results and certainly not see the condition go backwards in the other direction.
Right, exactly. But if somebody for example, doctor recommended any kind of medication, I always say you take it, but you take also our product.
Right.
And then if doctor decide, oh no, you don't need it, like in many cases it was happening, the doctor, oh, you don't need this drug, you don't need this one, you don't need that one. Just follow the advice. In this way, there is no conflict of, interest that the engage is promoting something.
Of course. Yep. And we definitely want people to remember that. We don't want anyone to
No, so that's why I
always
said
follow
that
your
you follow
doctor's
doctor
advice.
advice, and
Yeah.
I'm providing only micronutrient,
Yeah, this
which
is a
are
supplement.
supposed to help you in reducing oxidative. Nobody can disagree with that statement.
Yeah, yeah.
Micronutrient or antioxidant will reduce oxidative stress and inflammation. Nobody.
This is the food, folks. This is the food that's missing from food, and that's
Yeah.
what Dr. Prasad is
Yeah,
providing us
yeah.
with. We got time for a couple more here. Sonia Thomas, you evidently have also had some impact, and we want to hear song, and we want to hear all these stories. So let's hear what Sonia Thomas has to say. I can't find you, Sonia.
Oh, I'm here.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we
Yes.
can hear you.
Okay. My greatest impact for me was when I went through myelofibrosis, which is the bone marrow cancer, and when my platelets went back to normal, and my red and white blood cells went back to normal, my hemoglobin also, as well as my uric acid, and my liver went back to normal, and my spleen finally had shrunk. And I attribute that with all my heart to microdaily because everything the doctors gave me did not work. And so when I went to the oncologist, I always take my everything with me. So I showed him what I was taking. And every time I would go back to him, before he left out the door, he would turn back and point at me. He said, "You continue taking that product." And it started by I'm telling you, I thank the Lord every day. And also with my high blood pressure, they couldn't get that under control no matter what they gave me. And until I started taking the micro daily, my blood pressure is normalized, is stabilized. And I was taking like 75 milligrams of my medication. I went down to 25 milligrams of my medication. I'm continuing to take it. Even when I was hospitalized at one point, and I had started taking the micro daily, every time the doctors would say something bad to me, I would get my bag because I kept it in my bed. I get my bag and I just stuff that micro daily in my mouth. And when they came back after they took blood tests again, they said, "Oh, it's getting better." And they were thinking what they were doing, but I didn't say anything because I didn't want them to take the micro daily from me. So I just let them talk and I would just lay in the bed and smile, you know. So the micro daily products, all their products really work. And also, Dr. Prasad, I want to thank you so much because, like I always say, you are the Einstein of our times, and you're just so humble. And I just thank you so much. And I love you, Dr. Prasad, because sitting at your
Thank you.
feet, I have learned so much. And I can
Thank
sit
you.
up and have an educational conversation with people when I go out there and don't look stupid and crazy and don't know what to say. So I thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Amen. Thank you very much, Sonia. Much appreciated. That's incredible, Dr. Prasad.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I mean, these are story makes me not only happy, but give me extra energy to continue what I'm doing.
No, well, Dr. Prasad, we're not going to let you run out of gas, my friend. Song has another story she wants to share with us.
Sure.
Please, Song.
Hi, Jonathan and Dr. Prasad. It's so great to see both of you.
Hi, Sam.
I have a great story. Anything that I do that's Western medical except structural goes sideways every time. I'm one of those people they call reactive, the 1 in 100,000, or that's what they say anyway. So I had decided to get a colonoscopy when I was 71. Don't ask me what I was thinking. I guess I wasn't thinking. So I went and got it. Everything was fine, except it went sideways. And I ended up back in the hospital the next day, and they had to fix me up, and they kept me overnight. And it was a Friday night. So on Saturday morning, the nurses kept coming in asking me, "Did the doctor come in? We need to release you." Nothing happened, by the way. They were talking blood transfusion and everything, and I felt fine the whole time. And so they got the head doctor of St. David's Medical Community here in the Austin, Texas area, which has a lot of hospitals. And he was standing about 6 feet away from me, and he had my chart. And he was looking through my chart, and he said, "So, this is a couple of years ago. You're 71, huh?" And I'm like, "Yep." And he said, "Oh, they forgot to put some stuff in here." And I'm thinking, "Oh, that doesn't sound very competent." And so he named about 20 diseases, and I just said no to all of them. And he looked at the chart again, and he's like, "You're 71?" And I'm like, "Uh-huh." And he goes, "Oh," and he's paging through the chart, and he goes, "Oh, there's some stuff missing here." I'm like, oh, that doesn't sound very good. And he names about 20 drugs, pharmaceutical drugs. No, all of them. And he's like, you're 71? And I'm like, uh-huh. And he goes, what do you do? And I said, well, two of the main things I do is I eat 95% organic food and I take my micronutrients every day. And he goes, I got to tell you something. He says, we never see anybody in here anywhere near your age that doesn't have at least 3 to 5 diseases and is on
Yeah.
multiple drugs. He goes, you can go home. He didn't want to know about micronutrients, so just go home. If you're not a revenue producing person, they don't want to talk to you.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Song, thank you. Thank you very
Thank you.
much.
Thank
And
you.
congratulations. That's an amazing story.
Yeah.
And it's amazing and it's sad and exciting at the exact same time. I'm
Same
conflicted.
time. Yep.
Yeah, I've been taking
I'm
this
very
since
conflicted.
2014 when it first became available to us, and we take everything every day. And thank you so much, Dr. Prasad.
Thank
I
you
love
so much.
you. I
Yeah.
love you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you again, Song. Wow. Elizabeth Henry, please go ahead. Okay, we can hear you now.
All right. Listen, I've been a very healthy person. I don't have any of those diseases either, but the one thing that I've noticed in the last maybe 10 years is that I would get white coat syndrome. When I go even think about having my blood pressure taken, my blood pressure would go very high. The doctor put me on a blood pressure medicine because she says it's not good for it to gravitate up and down like that. I could go to her office, the blood pressure would be high. Before I'd leave, it would be normal. I am a type A personality. I need to learn how to de-stress. But I have to tell you that until I started taking the omega-3, I did all the relaxation exercises I could do. I calmed myself down. I stopped being so conscientious. But only after taking the omega-3 has my blood pressure stayed consistently low, 115/62, I think it was. I'm sorry, was it one? Yeah, I think it was 115/60, something like that. It is that way all the time now. So I think I've learned a little bit more about how to relax, but I do think that I'm physically in a better place to relax. I think the micro daily has helped. I take occasionally the CBD. I'm taking the probiotics, but just recently, the last 3 months, added omega-3, and my blood pressure has been normal every day, any time of the day.
Wow.
So
That's great.
I'm grateful for
Thank
that.
you.
And the doctor took me off of the blood pressure medicine.
Okay. That's good.
Wow. Thank you so much, Elizabeth. That was worth waiting for. When the end result is that the doctor says that you don't need this medication anymore.
Yeah, that's accomplishment.
That gets me excited when I hear that. So thank
Yeah.
you. Charles R. Let's try Charles R. Why is everyone having difficulty unmuting themselves? There's no
Okay.
Okay, you got me? Can you hear
There
me?
we go. Uh-huh.
Okay, this is Charles Rayford.
Oh, hey,
And
Charlie.
Hey, how's it going?
Very
I
good.
had a very interesting experience just even today. They keep happening every day. I actually had 3 today, but I'll just tell you about one. It was my brother. He had called me about 2 months ago, and he told me that the doctor told him that he had a slight stroke at some point in time that he didn't know anything about, and he'd had a slight heart attack that he didn't know anything about. So he called me a couple months ago, and he wanted to try these herbs that my mom was telling him about. And so I sent them to him, and he was, well, I'm going to try it. I'm going to try it and see how it goes. Well, today, even last month, he says, well, I might have to cut back on some because of my expenses, because, I like the product and it's working, but I might have to cut back a little bit. But he called me today. He says, Charlie, I ran out, and I've gone to the doctor and everything was working okay. and I was able to see because he had gone blind
Oh my.
completely. And he says, when I start taking the products, now I'm able to see. And he said, I ran out and I had I don't know if he had not been taken for one day or so. And he told me that for this coming month, he wasn't going to be able, he had to cut back. But then he said he took 3 of them. He said he might have taken his last 3 of the micro daily. And he said his vision came back. I don't know. This is what he told me. He said it was kind of, he said it had gone away, and I couldn't even see how to call you. But then I took 3 of these, and he was told to suck on one of them, but he said it came back and said, so I called you. I need those, and I need to double up on them, and I don't care what my bills are. I need the product. Before he was concerned about his bills. He don't care about his bills now. He wants the product, and he wants them in double doses, so he can get on the therapeutic doses. So he says, do that for me tomorrow.
Wow. Thank you very much, Charlie, for sharing that story. And do me a favor. Next weekend, Jeff is going to be have the floor open for a lot more testimonials like this. Can you bring those other 3 or 4 and share them next weekend?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you very much, Charlotte, for that. Because, I'll tell you, Dr. Prasad, this it never ceases to amaze me. And I'm showing on the screen right now what micro daily is. And these are the ingredients. And there are people who say that these are things I'm taking already. And I have a client that I went to visit just a couple days ago. And she said she couldn't believe it because she didn't think that it was possible that the product was working that fast. She has chronic fatigue syndrome and several other issues. But the very next day after starting her first dose, she said she felt like she had life in her body again. And I said, have you been taking supplements? She says, we have a whole cabinet full of supplements, all kinds of vitamins. She says, nothing has ever worked. But the moment she took your formula, Dr. Prasad, what we're looking at right now, she got results. And she showed me her probiotic boost bottle. She said, and her hands were shaking. She says, I'm almost running out of this one. She says, get me another one of these quickly. We can't run out. We have to have this. And this is the probiotic, folks. So Dr. Prasad told us about this one. And he only chose to put in acid resistant and heat resistant bacteria. So that's the key with this one. You don't need to have 50 billion international units every day. All you need is one of these a couple of times a day. And after a period of time, a couple of few months or so, you can cut that down to once a week because your microbiome has normalized. And Dr. Prasad has made that clear for us. And you just heard the addition that omega-3 had with Elizabeth Henry. She added that. And from that point on, her blood pressure, instead of fluctuating, she says she normalized just by adding this. You got to ask yourself a question. Now, that was her story. And of testimonials, as we told you, are purely anecdotal. What happens to one person may or may not happen to you, but it happened to Elizabeth Henry. So what Dr. Prasad told us as far as the positive benefits of this on the kidney certainly is attested to by Elizabeth. She feels that it was a factor. And Dr. Prasad told us about digestive boost. So all of his discussion was every single one of the items that you're looking at here. These are all beneficial to supporting good kidney health, not just kidney health. We're talking all organs, but we're talking about National Kidney Health Awareness Month right now. So that's why we keep saying kidney, because that's just where we are and what our subject matter is. My favorite, besides microdaily, is this collagen. Because I'm going to tell you right now, I'm never going to stop taking this stuff, ever. So I will never run out of this. And this stuff is absolutely phenomenal. I love the brain benefits. I love the skin benefits. I love the heart benefits. I love the energy benefits of it. I love the joint benefits of it. There are so many benefits. The list just goes on and on and on. But this will keep your kidney feeling like you look on the outside. So you now get your insides working the same way as your outside. So just 2/3 of one scoop per day. That's all it takes. and you now are optimizing it. But the beauty of that particular collagen is it's got the enzyme inhibitors. You keep what you make. All the other collagen peptides on the market, you make it, you lose it just as fast as you make it, but not with Dr. Prasad, and it's patented. Now, remember, if you purchase it this month, you're getting 50% more in celebration of the fact that Dr. Prasad was awarded a patent for this unique product. So there's 50% more in the container, number one. If you choose to follow his recommendation and purchase the Core 4, what you see up on the top there, the Core 4, and Dr. Prasad is recommending add the digestive boost to it as well. But even if you just go with the Core 4, while supplies last, Engage Global is going to give you an extra canister of collagen daily this month, right now. So I recommend you take advantage of that offer right now. It's a free canister of collagen daily. You can't go wrong. Don't walk, run. And you can't order this online to get that. You have to call customer service to get that. If I understand it correctly, Jeff can chime in and confirm or deny that. But
correct. Correct.
Okay.
You will need to call into customer service even when you're enrolling somebody new who doesn't want to miss out on getting a free tub of collagen with their first order. That's like a $60 value. And to get 50 more grams in that tub is also, it's like winner chicken dinner right there. So got to do it.
Just can't
Call
beat
customer
it.
service.
Can't beat it. So get on the phone, call customer service, put the order in. You're getting an extra free canister of that. So how do you do this? Where do I sign up? What do I do? Well, it's real simple. Just get back with the person who invited you to this discussion today. Don't call me. Don't text me. Just get back. Whoever invited you to this discussion today, you just get back with them, and they will guide you on what to do and how to take advantage of these offers and to get the same kind of benefits that you just heard, folks. So remember, what you heard today was for education and informational purposes only. The FDA has not evaluated these comments. Testimonies are purely anecdotal. What happens to one person may or may not happen to you. We highly recommend that you seek the competent medical advice of professionals that you trust when making decisions about your health and well-being. We strongly, strongly, strongly recommend that. So Dr. Prasad, once again, sir, thank you so much for your being willing to join us and have discussions like this.